it on?
We're live
We're live.
and recording.
All right, Osman. So I am super excited to introduce you guys to Osman. My name is Ralph Havens, and this is a very special edition of Miracles, Magic, and Coffee, or you could call it Crushed Imposter Syndrome and Ending Anxiety Forever for Entrepreneurs. Yeah, and so on the day before Ramadan, I thought, what the heck? A Muslim and a Christian walk into a Facebook Live. So let's see what happens. Because there's a lot of trauma in the world, and there's a lot of hurt. And right now, people are hurting a lot. I mean, whatever you think about the lockdown and what's going on, it's tough out there. And there's anxieties at an all-time high, and tensions are high, and kids are having a really hard time. And Osman is somebody that I'm privileged to know, and he does deep work to heal traumas. And the thing is, he's also an entrepreneur, and he helps people get their message out to the world, because a lot of times it's these deep hurts that stop people, and sometimes we know what they are and sometimes we don't. The thing is, even if we know what is causing the deep trauma, we know what happened, that doesn't always fix it. It just lets you know why you've got a problem. And so what we're going to do, I want to ask Osman what he does and how he does it. And let's heal some stuff up. Let's heal some stuff up. And we got something really special at the end. So if you are an entrepreneur and you do have anxiety and fear about getting your work out to the world, right now we feel that the people that are going to really help the world, the entrepreneurs are right up there with the people. We're the ones that are going to help. You're the ones that are going to help, because if you've solved a problem and you found a way to this level, somebody here, you know, they're looking for what you have. And a lot of times going and being in public and sharing stuff can be so stressful. And so before we got on the call, Osman said, anything we can't share, Ralph? Because he knows a bit about me, and he knows, you know, it's like, where are we going to go with this? And I thought, no, man, we can share wherever we go. And I said, I could tell the story of my mom and the FBI. So that story might come up, but I'm just really happy to have Osman on. And yeah, welcome, Osman. If you want to say a little bit about yourself and your story, it'd be great.
Thank you for having me, Ralph. It's an honor. I'm Osman. My origins are Turkish, but I live in the Netherlands. I'm 31 years old, married. Begin June or end May, I will have my first child, daughter, which is really exciting time. And like you said, well, a bit about me. When I was 16, I got interested in mystical stuff, mythology, gods, Hinduism, Buddhism, shamanism, like all that stuff. And I did my research as best as I could, reading from the internet, talking with various people that got me interested in energy work. But I had back then an imposter syndrome. So I said, okay, what can I do to have a real job? And my brother's like, why don't you do IT? I can help you. I'm an IT guy. I said, okay. So I got into IT, and I'm now have been like IT professional for 10 years. But on the side, I've always been interested in keeping myself active on that particular interest of me. And now, like you said, Ralph, I transit to become a full-time mindset coach is what they now call it. But what I try to do is have people see that whatever they think is holding them back is usually not the case. It's something deeper down.
Yeah. And you know what, I remember this quote that I think it was on a ClickFunnels group page, and somebody was saying, somebody who makes a lot of money said a quote from JP Morgan. It said, millionaires don't use astrologers, billionaires use astrologers. And you know, Nancy and Ronald Reagan had an astrologer or some sort of mystic person to like see what do we do. And I know George Soros, who had that quantum fund, has it. If you put $1,000 in there, it's worth $4 million now. And they asked him, how do you make these big $100 million decisions? And he said, I have a feeling that happens in my back. It's like, what the heck? So even if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're have an interest in some of the metaphysical or the energetic stuff, there's practical, Osman uses it in a practical way too. I want to ask you, before we go into that, all that, 16 years old, why do you think you had that interest? Like, what was that all about?
It was truly, it was quote unquote born from boredom. I was really bored. All my friends went on holiday, and I was on the internet, and I read somewhere out of body experience. I was like, what does that mean? Back then, I was learning English through gaming and researching stuff as best as I could. So when I heard about it and read about it, it was so interesting. I was like, I want to experience that.
Oh,
That was how I got into it.
that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that does sound pretty cool. It does sound pretty cool. I used to read a lot of this one guy that's written a lot of books about that sort of thing, and it's intriguing. It's intriguing. And what do you think as you started going down this road? Anything else you wanted to accomplish besides astral traveling or going to these other worlds? What did you anything? What else did you want to get out of that?
For me, it was really back then there was Dragon Ball Z. Like, as a kid, there's this cartoon. It's called Dragon Ball Z, where they were like firing off energy into space or whatever and blowing up things. And back then, I was so interested. I was like, I want to learn that. That was I had no, I didn't know that you could use this to heal people. For me, it was more out of fun. Let's see what can I achieve with this.
That is so cool. I mean, I see here that a lot from people is that when they were a little kid, they believed they could fly and they were flying. And you're like, you just thought you were flying, right? No, I was flying. It's like they had little kids have a different way of experiencing the world that maybe is more accurate than us. So you were just interested in this really wild ride. Yeah. Um, and so tell us a little bit about the journey of going down this. Like, how did this become the thing that you do?
That's really an interesting part. And the reason for that is I spent the first year looking into different stories, how the world was created from a point of like Greek gods, Egypt, Hindu, Buddhism, shamanism, in North America or in nearby Russia. I forgot the country's name. And I just looked at that. What does it mean? What do they believe in? And one day I met by fate, I don't believe in coincidence, by fate, I met a lady who was well, knowledgeable and practicing energy healing. And she said to me, well, it seems that you have a natural talent for healing people. I was like, huh? So I don't get to blow up things, but I can heal people. She's like, don't be silly. You were not living in the cartoon. You have natural gift for healing people. I was like, okay, let's try. So she had her own unique way. She was also what she called a seeker, a knowledge seeker. She likes to read and try to apply.
Wow.
And she spent about a year to teach me what she knew.
Wow. So were you living in Turkey then?
No, I was in the Netherlands.
Okay. Wow. So some woman took you under her wing and just trained you in this way of tapping into whatever this is and helping people heal.
Yes.
That is cool. It really was by faith. I'm going to start to use what you said. It's not like by coincidence or synchronicity, by faith. That's a great way to say that. Like call it what it is. Wow. And how old were you when all this was going on?
I think when I met her, I was about 17, maybe close to 18, around that age.
And then what did you do with it? Did you start going into IT stuff like college IT at that point, or did you start doing it? What happened?
Well, I kept it secret from everyone because, like I said, I had this imposter syndrome, and I didn't believe I could help actually people. So what I did was I learned psychology, self-help, mostly through self-study. There's even on MIT is social behavior psychology. I watched that, read that to understand the human brain better and to connect the dots. But I still didn't put myself out as a healer or a mindset coach. So I was looking for a safe haven, which was IT back then, to make an income, to make a living actually.
Oh, that's cool. And so you're really well trained in the IT part of stuff right now.
Yes, I am. I'm an IT business consultant, cybersecurity consultant.
It's interesting how you play in energy and information exchanges and in the IT world and in the energetic world. It's all like Wi-Fi. It's like, where is this energetic thing? And so as you went along, yeah, did you plan it out? Like now you're doing mindset healing, deep work, and we'll get into what you do because you do it in a real specific way for real specific kind of problems. Did you did this come as like you just planned, you got the IT stuff and then you started getting into like how did it transition to where now you get to do the healing stuff?
Well, the healing part,
It's work, you know.
it happened. The next person that I was supposed to heal, they found me in some weird way, some not obvious way. And it was really weird. Like we just met, but instantly there's this deep trust and they don't know why, but they're start to tell their whole life to me and all these deep traumas. I'm like, we just met. What are you doing? They're like, I don't know. I just want to. But what the only thing that I planned, looking back, is the IT part. The healing, the doing, it just happened when it's supposed to happen.
That's cool. And any bumps on the road to being I guess you'd call yourself like a shamanic healer or
No.
no,
No, I just call myself a mindset. And if people really ask, I said, I try to help you with energy healing part 2. And the reason for that is the people I want to serve, they're not well versed or knowledgeable with the energy part.
Oh yeah.
So to not have them like, oh, that's woo-woo, I don't want that. I keep that like in the second layer.
Yeah, that is an issue. Like, yeah, I had an influencer once that I did a really big influencer. For those of you who don't know, is people that make a lot of money with coaching type businesses. You know, helping people build businesses. And this one influencer coach person reached out to me and said, "Hey, this other guy that we're part of his group, he's having a tough time, and can you do something to heal him?" And so I reached out and he never reached back, but I could tell she was like, no, can you do something? So I did something and I just messaged him and said, yeah, I did this at 10:20 a.m. at your time. He was halfway around the world. And then I got a message the next day and she said, yeah, he's feeling better. Things are good. So then I got a message from him that said, did you do some healing on me? And I'm like, yeah, man, I did it at this 10:20 a.m. Your time on this day. And so he said, I got to get on a call. And what did you do? So I got on a call and I was thinking he was going to be my client. Like, this is a great opportunity for you, your family, your team. Let's heal some stuff up. But he has a strong faith in a certain religion. And he said, well, let me think about it. How much does it cost and stuff? And money was not an object for him. It's like that didn't concern him. And then he didn't totally, I still help him out on some levels here and there. But I was asking the other person that referred him and I said, yeah, he spends money on everything that can help him. How come he didn't just jump all over my offer? And she goes, well, he just doesn't understand it. Like, it's too weird. It'd be like showing somebody a cell phone and they're in 1960. It'd be like, this is too weird, man. Are you from the devil? You know, so you decided to go with the result and just let them know, hey, you have a problem with this, your mindset coach, you can help them. We'll do some healing, but you don't tell them all the stuff you play with, it sounds like.
Yes, exactly. Like that's why I looked at the social behavior psychology and
Well,
did biology and chemistry out of interest. I studied that, and there is something that called like muscle memory. When you train a lot, you get like high above average of reflex. Like when you're boxing and somebody gives you a kick, you can like that's because you have a muscle memory. People who are traumatized, let's say by robbery, sexual assault, they have a certain part of their body muscle memory. If a stranger, let's say you got robbed and someone was squeezing you here, next time someone you know or you don't know, they touch you here, it can instantly get triggered. And it's a safety response. Your brain's like, hey, that place is hit. We're not safe. Go be safe somewhere.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about, you were mentioning the kinds of things that you help with. And I know you can't share personal stuff, but do you have any thing you could share about like who you help or the kind of things? Because there's probably people on here. We have all sorts of people on this in this group. Some entrepreneurs, some people that are interested in matrix energetics and other energy medicine things, and some people that are just interested in magic of some site way of for healing. And so we have lots of different people. Any stories that you have of how you I guess you could call play with this energy, these things that you see, these places you travel to, and then helping somebody with a specific thing. You mentioned some of them have pretty significant traumas. Any stories around that that you can share? I know you can't share a lot of specifics.
Well, what I would like to give you one example, there was this US war veteran, which I met by fate. Um, I didn't know him, but he didn't know that I was a Muslim. And I didn't know he was a US war veteran, right? We just he's like, you seem a nice guy. I'm like, thank you, you're nice too. And like uh, several days later, I understood that he had war traumas that was giving him insomnia, not being able to sleep, and all the other things that belong to it, right? I said to him, like, let's have a talk and see where this leads. And there's this process where you bring the person back to their memory as vividly as they can remember. And you're, at that moment, you're telling the body, the brain, hey, listen, this is it. We're reviewing. You're safe. We're just reviewing what happened back then. And he personally had so much guilt, fear. Something happened there. He survived. Four of them survived. One of them died because he jumped on a grenade. The rest survived. And he felt guilt. And that guilt was causing him back pain, causing him various traumas. And he did, if I'm not wrong, he did 3 tours of several years, in total like 11 years. And he had so much hatred in him, guilt in him, that was stopping him. And I said to him, like, hey, listen, that scene is over. Yes, you were constantly in danger of dying, and certain people were constantly, on you, but it's over. Let it go. Forgive so you can live. And he did that. Was it easy for him? No, but he took his time. After that, he got his regular sleep back, but his back still hurt it. So I was like, hey, do you want to have a second talk? It's like, I don't know what you're doing, but no, I'm happy with having my sleep back. So like you said,
Oh, he didn't
not
want
everybody. Sorry?
he didn't want the second treatment.
No, because he didn't understand what was going on.
Yeah, how would you explain it to somebody? Because I do like the way you said you tell people you're a mindset coach, and because and I had that experience of some people just don't get it, and it's like you don't have to get it because it's like if I don't know how a cell phone works, I have no idea so I don't even know how my car works, but I can use it. Like I can push the buttons, and I don't know how
Yes.
Zoom works, but I can use it. And 20 years ago, it would have been like magic. And I think it was Arthur C. Clarke, a novelist or some sort of person from the past, said any sufficiently advanced technology appears as magic. Because it's like, if it, if you think of some of the stuff that we use, the wireless devices and stuff, it's like, if you actually thought about it, you mean to tell me Osmans in the Netherlands, I'm in Bellingham, Washington, and there's something traveling through the air to a satellite on light, and or maybe under the ocean, and it's like wireless, like what? It's like, I don't know how that works. I guess somebody knows how that works, maybe, but but I do know how to push the buttons. And so I think like it'd be cool for you to be able to reach the people that maybe, yeah, you're a Muslim, I'm a Christian. It's like, it's all like, like my nephew Taylor said a long time ago. He was a cool kid, and but he said it was back when all those wars were going on in the Middle East, the U.S. against everybody, and he was like, of course they have a different name for God. They have a different name for toilet. And so it's like, come on, God is God, right? And so, but yeah, how do you, I wonder, what would you tell people? Like you've gone in some mystical places, yet you can help people with a very specific trauma stuff. Yeah, that's an
I do want to share one thing. After the session, he learned that I was a Muslim. He's like, dude, just because of you, I don't hate Muslims anymore.
there's
I
a
was like, wow, wow.
well, yeah, wow. So when he was, wow, isn't that's big, man? I wonder what ripple effect that had. Yeah, I had a therapist that used to work with me, Danielle, and she would say, we don't even know why people are really coming to see us. Like we might think, yeah, I had a client who actually came from out of state to see me in person years ago, and she had neck pain and headaches and back pain, and she wanted to see me in person, and so I checked her out, and I could see deep grief and sadness in her lungs, and it was before I have some of the processes that you and I now use on a weekly basis, but I had my medical intuitive training, but I was noticing deep grief and sadness in her lungs, so I did the techniques for that, and her neck and back pain got better. It was gone. And she said, what are you doing? And I said, well, there was some spiritual pain there, deep grief, deep sadness. And then she told me what had happened to, I won't give you details, but her family members, yeah, the worst of the worst. And so it was like, oh, that makes sense. But I didn't do talk therapy. I didn't try to like help her understand it. We just cleared it out. And then she wasn't needing to protect herself from that kind of pain. And I think so many people are protecting themselves from something. And
Yes.
And you and I, we can find that protection, and we don't have to tell them what it is if it freaks them out, but it would be cool to get them on the call and get them the help. Yeah. So that's a big transformation for that guy. What have been some of the, do you when you do your work, when you work with somebody, do other people in their lives change as a result of you working with them, like family members and stuff?
Yeah, you probably experienced this too. What happens is because they let go of their old identity, where they were victimizing themselves, they're now empowering themselves. So if, let's say, you have a narcissist, if the client has a narcissist in their family, they're not easily accepting everything anymore. Because there's changed, their family goes like, wow, you're a changed person. Some people mean that in a good way, and other people are like, oh no, I can't control you anymore, you're bad. So
The relationships can change. Yeah, I feel like we're keeping some of you a secret so far, because you mentioned it a bit, but you help people with this really severe stuff, the severe stuff.
yes.
If somebody has severe traumas, and you could talk about the different versions that you've seen you can help with. If somebody's listening and they have some of the severe stuff, the stuff that you wouldn't wish on any little kid, and it's like, and now they're an adult and they've got stuff, you know. Anything you want to say about healing that stuff? Because there are a lot of people, you know, that are walking around, they look normal. They look like normal men and women. And then you wonder sometimes why they have certain little quirks. Some of them make a lot of money, and yet you and I can see stuff, but other people might not notice that there seems to be a glitch, a thing. But a lot of people walking around normal have had really horrendous things happen, and you can help with that. So I want to make sure people know a bit about that, and then we can let them know how to find you. But yeah, you know, there's people with a lot of pain. So yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Talk about how you help people. I just feel like we're scratching at the surface of this stuff. But I'm just telling people, if you've been through some of this tough stuff, you know what I mean, and you want to heal it on a level that's where you don't have to keep trying to like mask it or just be up or, you know, take a little CBD or whatever. Yeah, talk a little bit about healing some of those traumas.
Like what you do, you go to the core. Like with your technique, it's always stay focused, stay present into the most intense part. That's the journey I take them through more in a mental way. The reason for that is because if you look at psychology says to let go of something, sometimes we need to understand what it is that we need to let go. Other times, it doesn't need to happen. But for those people who need to understand what happened in order to have peace, I take them through, some people call it shamanic walk, some people call it hypnosis, other people call it like going into your subconscious. And the way I look at it, it's all the same. Mm-hmm. The process is you bring them in the deep subconscious meditative state and you bring them back to that specific time and place. And then the next step is, hey, where is that located in your body? Because your body, your brain stores that energy, that like when you have a trauma, your body is like snapshots. It's like this, I was smelling this, I was cold or hot, I was seeing this. Like every impression, it's like snapshot and stored in one specific place. And by bringing them back to that space, like to that specific spot, the next step is, hey, what do you need in order to let go of this? And for some people, that is serving as a protection. They're like, I must remember this trauma so I can prevent it from ever happening.
Oh, yeah. So you do this in it's not just verbalizing it. They're kind of like in an altered state, or how are they?
They are in an altered state, and depending on how willing they are, like there is this thin line, you might agree or not, but there's this thin line between imagination and energy. So if they can imagine it, they can tap into their own being. So I'm like, hey, you're in a protected bubble, you're safe. Let's travel to that spot in your body which you have choose to store the trauma.
Okay.
And they're like, yep, okay, I'm there. I said, do you want to go over it before we release? Just follow your intuition, right? If you want to go over it, let's go over it. But now it is like you're watching a TV. If they're like, no, I'd rather not, I'm like, okay, what do you need? What does you or your body require to let go of this?
It's kind of like you said, hypnosis-ish. It's like
yeah, it's a mixture of those. That's why.
Yeah. Well, that's super cool, man. Yeah. And when somebody's got these things that they know there's something that's blocking them, like if they say it's blocking them in their relationships and they always get the same kind of relationship, the woman always cheats on them, or they always seem to fail with this, or they're always getting in accidents. And you find some of these things. How fast? What has been your experience of like people's lives improving? You've already mentioned a lot with that one guy, the army guy. But we're talking like changes in all sorts of things, like relationships,
Yes.
business, accident prone stuff, all sorts of stuff, right?
Exactly. There is just like the healing you do, there is no limit. The limit is the person self. If you don't want to let go or change, I cannot help you.
Yeah.
The clients I helped, right? They got over their trauma. Other people got over, they were able to make more money, or they were able to find love, find job. And the only thing that I do was show them the possibility. I did not send out application for that. I did not sign them up for dating sites. They just stopping themselves.
Yeah. That's cool, man. It's really big. Yeah, I hope everybody's getting what the potential here, because it's like we've all had stuff in the past, and some more than others, and there's some people like I don't even remember some of the stuff before I was about 8 years old. My sister remembers, and so it'd be hard for me to go back and relive like all the bad stuff. but yeah, it's in our bodies, and there's a way to get it out. And I want to give everybody some interesting some more places to look. And we have some very special guests on the call. Osman, you'd be very happy to hear this. Um, our friend Just is on the call, and so talk about
Awesome.
a healer magician dude that is kind of like also just like anyway. So it's cool to see Just on the call. So there's lots of energy in this call. So if anybody wants to notice how they feel, you might feel different hanging around with me and Osman and our friend Just. And yeah, I want to drop a link here in case anybody wants the masterclass I have. It's something. Let me just tell you a little bit about it, because what I found is that the entrepreneurs, the people selling stuff, bump into their fears. You want a spiritual journey, go try to like get your gift out to the world and see if people want it, and be out there with that. And so that inner stuff, the inner traumas that end up being anxiety and fear and what's called imposter syndrome, it can be a real problem for moving forward in life in all sorts of ways. But one of the ways also, and also one of the ways is being an entrepreneur. So I've got a master class that's it's about 10 minutes long with this whole how I do this version, and then I want to also give you the link for contacting Osman. So there's the link for how we crush the imposter syndrome and the feeling of anxiety. It's my name, RalphHavens.com/atomic1.
Go check it out. He's really brilliant at what he does.
Yeah, and there's Just awesome, dude. Yeah, Just and I are doing some big stuff too. So look for that in the future. And I want to make sure everybody gets a good contact information. Is there a link where people can or an email, or what can I put in the comments to let
Well, I'm still working on it, but my domain, my website is breakingmentallimits.com.
breakingmentallimits.com. So let me just make sure I got that spelled right. breakingmentallimits.com. Okay. So there's Osman's link, and go grab his information there. And then yeah, Osman and I are working together on this other one too. And the RalphHavens.com/atomic1. So go check that out. If you like this, click like, click share, or heart and share, and let people know. And anything else you want to say about healing deep traumas? And now is the time, man. We're in an interesting time.
Yeah, something I want to say is that what we mentally think, what I mean consciously, right? We're now talking, both of us are conscious. So if someone says, hey, I know X is blocking me, and that X is usually the white lie the brain tells them. Deep traumas are traumas, and They're traumatic because we're like encapsulating that memory and putting it away because we cannot bear it. So what does our brain? It's like, hey, I'm here to make sure that you are safe, that you live on, and that you feel comfortable. Specifically for the comfortable part, your brain pushes the trauma away and puts all kinds of nice stuff on it.
Yeah.
And if something is blocking you, it gives you something that you can accept consciously. It doesn't give you anything that will make you uncomfortable.
It's kind of
So
like,
you might be surprised
yeah.
when you found out what is truly holding you back.
And it's and you can help people get to that point without having to be so scared. Like there's a reason it's protected and they're not they've got all this stuff blocking it. You can get in there and it's not like the that sounds tough to like go to that spot, but there's a way to do it without it being so traumatizing over and over again, right?
Yes, that is very possible, and that is what I have been doing. You know, if the person is ready, shift can happen in matters of hours. If you are holding you back, it takes weeks. But in the end, because you know that famous saying, one seen can't be unseen.
Yeah.
So once you see that your brain is actually lying to you for your own good, that lie doesn't work anymore. Your brain needs to come up with a new lie.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. Like, or like that's like, yeah, it's kind of like you can go experience it one more time and really let it go, or you can keep having it impact your whole life and having all these workarounds that make it where you just keep having to have stuff not work as well for you. That's it. Yeah, I want to do more Facebook Lives with you, and this will also be on our YouTube. So look for that, Beyond Limits with Ralph Havens, and this is the Facebook group. And yeah, let's get Osman on some more, and because the thing is, these days entrepreneurs are talking more and more about how mindset is the most important thing. But what I see is so many entrepreneurs and people in general are looking for, they think they need a mindset hack. Like just go show me some trick ninja thing, or some of them are even just trying to like cover it up, like CBD and marijuana are at an all-time high. The number of marijuana places in Bellingham is incredible. And it's like they're trying to protect themselves and not go there. But the thing is, there is a way to go clear it without having to just always have to deal with it or have a workaround or a mindset hack, a cool affirmation to like, nothing wrong with that stuff. But I used to use running to try to feel not so anxious. And but it's like, and so you think, oh, that's a positive thing, Ralph, running. But it's kind of like you could use heroin too, like, or you could use meditation. It's like, or you could use dancing or Netflix, or running or marijuana. It's like, but instead, there's a way to go to these traumas and then be done with them. Be done with them. And that's what Osman has. That's what we have. So so go find those links and let's heal yourself and heal the world. And if it's like I thought it was a perfect saying. A Muslim and a Christian walk into a bar the day before Ramadan. So on the day before Ramadan, happy Ramadan. Osman,
Thank you.
so good to see you, man.
Likewise. Thank you for having me. It was great. And people definitely check out Ralph. Is really good at what he does. And he can help you literally in a matter of minutes. So definitely go check out what he does.
Thanks, Osman. And we do have something really cool there that's coming. So if you go to that and put your email in, I'll send you a really cool link. It just got released this week. And yeah, ralphhavens.com/atomic1. So I'm going to go ahead and click us out of here.